watching the YouTubes have been posting.
Mm-hmm.
They've been useful.
Oh, good. How?
Let me see. Well, just in general, I think they go over a lot of the things that we've been over that are just
Good.
kind of good to hear again and to
Any
reinforce things.
Any questions?
No main questions right now.
Okay. What's on your mind? Or not on your mind? Even better.
On my mind, there's the topic of work.
Ah, yeah, it's very, very important. What's the deal?
So I'm trying to figure out what to do next, I guess. And
Have we studied the Book of Change?
mm-hmm.
The I Ching?
Mm-hmm.
You may want to consult it for getting perspectives that are different than the main driver.
I have, yeah.
Oh, good. What came out?
I did it last night. Do you want me to?
What kind of state were you in?
I did it before going to bed, so I'm tired and relaxed.
Yeah, not the best, right? In order for this thing to work with what's around it, you got to be attuned, very and tuned. But let's see what happened anyway. Go ahead.
But is it? I mean, if I'm not attuned, is it like not worth doing at all, or like if I attune myself the best I can in the moment?
It depends on what you're using it for, and how sensitive you want it to be. Remember, it's your own mind. Remember that, okay?
Because I mean, like, obviously, it's going to work better the more clear-minded I am.
Absolutely, or cleared of mind.
Right. But I don't think I'm at the point where I can
Not yet.
clear my mind.
Not yet. That's true.
At any time, and so it's depending on the day or the week how clear my mind is.
So let's talk about what's meant by clear mind. What does that mean to you?
It means the state where the mind is like there's space. There's no. I think normally there's like a rate of speed at which thoughts are arising.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a center of gravity to thoughts or feelings that are hard to get away from if there's no space.
Center of gravity? What is it? Tell me more about that.
If sometimes I'm in a state where, like, say a state of restlessness, where there's just this feeling of like I can't sit still. I need to do something, and that feeling feels like a center of gravity that I keep returning to. I don't know if that makes sense.
Are you trying to force it?
No.
Okay, so a clear mind simply means that you've relaxed and opened it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the thoughts just kind of settle down. They slow down, all right, and then they start to take up less and less space. It's like dirt in water, where it settles. But the idea that you're going to eliminate thought altogether, I don't think is going to happen until you've woken up.
Right.
So what you don't need an absolutely clear mind, absolutely absent mind, but you need one that's settled enough to where you're not moving thoughts around randomly. You're not just following them randomly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good way to be able to look at your mind. If your thoughts just jump from one to another, or if they go straight down a rabbit hole, both of those are to be avoided.
Mm-hmm.
And the purpose of of the returning to the breath, or returning to nature, returning to the natural, is to that becomes the center of gravity in my language, sort of ish. And so it's just kind of exchanging one attention for another.
Right.
I know it all sounds very, very complicated, but it's not.
It doesn't sound too complicated.
Okay, good. All right.
But lately I struggle with like restlessness of the body.
Yeah, you got to take that dog for a walk.
But then I do, and then it gets hurt, you know?
Well, no, you don't take the dog to a hockey game, you know,
Yeah.
with sticks and ice and pucks. That's very dangerous to the body. It's a lot of fun when you're young and so on and so forth, but how many 50-year-old hockey players are there?
There's more than you'd expect.
Do they have teeth? Or maybe I'm just, I'm playing to the caricature. I don't know about hockey. It just seems to me that there's a lot of sticks and pucks and punches and that's glorious if that's what you want. But let me say 60-year-old, 70-year-old.
60 is a cutoff for sure.
Okay, so then there's a limit to how far you want to go down that road, because I have friends who are tennis people. Mm-hmm. They're a bit younger than me, but first they replace one knee, then they replace another knee, then they replace an elbow, and so on and so forth. And pretty soon they aren't the ones playing tennis. It'll be So just be wary. That's all.
Right.
Because you could invest that same energy into some kind of endeavor that does have a future, right? And doesn't break your bones. Mm. But of course, it's completely your decision, and I shouldn't even speak of hockey. The only thing I've seen of it is just the highlights on here and there, and it looks pretty rugged.
Yeah, I mean, recreational hockey, you're not allowed to hit or to fight, so it's.
I'm talking about the hockey that used to be played in front of my house in New Hampshire. Those guys were pretty impressive.
Play on the street.
On the lake.
On the lake.
Yeah, and so and they're So where do you play with refs and things?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's okay. I don't know anything about that. I'm talking about the kids in front of my house that used to, and they're quite impressive kids. I remember once they were racing. I'm not sure what time of the season it was. They were racing these boats they'd put together using sailboard sails. They weren't boats; they were ice boards.
Yeah.
And it went through the ice. The guy with it, and I thought to myself, "Oh my God, I got to go rescue this guy. He's going to die, right? He's going to freeze to death and die." But he climbed out, was laughing as hard as he could. I mean, he was laughing a lot. His friends were laughing. They thought it was funny. To me, it was sudden death, but that shows what I know, right? Yeah. So depending on what you're accustomed to, that you will be able to do more easily. So yeah, you got to solve that problem. And what that usually means is exercise of some sort. And hockey's a nice burst, but how many hours can you play hockey in a week?
I just play once a week.
All right. Well, that sounds like fun. That sounds like fun.
I've been playing beach volleyball as well, and tennis.
Yeah, those sound good. So does hockey. Just don't break your bones. I mean,
Yeah.
But I think it seems like the purpose is to break your bones and knock your teeth out.
It's not the purpose.
Well, the greats. I mean, I don't know anything because all I know is like Bobby Orr and one other guy, and none of them had any teeth. So I thought this is an interesting sport. Okay, so all right, good. Do you find that you can lose yourself playing hockey?
Oh yeah.
Okay, well that is not doing, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're struggling with your body or struggling with your mind or whatever, probably best to just like relax and sort out what's actually going on. Is it really your body, or are you agitated mentally, and it's being reflected in your body? Mm. It's a lifelong learning, and then you got to go. Then you have to go beyond the body, beyond the mind, beyond the body. But that's for later.
What do you mean by that?
Do you think the body and the mind is all there is? And what's the boundary of the mind?
I don't know.
Well, that's what you got to find that out, right? Because if you don't know, you're assuming.
Right.
What are you assuming?
Well, I don't know what the boundary could be, because everything, I mean, I'm aware that all my perceptions are being created.
Correct.
And so the boundary between my body right now is a false, like, I feel like there's a boundary between my body and the environment, but I know that's false because they're both being projected.
But we're thinking of your mind now. So if you see a cloud in the sky, is that your mind?
Yeah.
Where is
it?
it?
A projection of my mind.
Well, then where's the boundary of your mind?
That I don't know.
Find out. Okay, that's really important. And so that's very straightforward too. You want to know what the boundaries of your mind are. Okay, because that'll give you more space. And then you don't feel quite as cramped. And if you're not cramped, you can relax more and be more effective or efficient. Mm-hmm. All right, so that's vital. So job one is to find the boundary of your mind.
You said something about I need to figure out if it's my body or if it's I'm agitated in my mind, which is getting reflected in my body. And
same thing. Okay, go ahead.
Well, I think that resonated a little bit, because I noticed I've been frustrated, and I think that carries itself obviously in the body, in like a tenseness that I can feel. Absolutely.
And tenseness in the body will then affect your mind. They're the same thing. So back in the old days, in the ancient history, we called it psychophysiology, and it was like, for us, it was like a big discovery that the brain and the heart, the mind and the body are intimately connected.